we're going to color up the Great Gazoo, and we're going to start with our skin tone, and our skin tone is going to be a YGO3 yellow green, YGO5 salad, and YGO1 green base. Not a skin tone I thought I would be using, but yet here we are. So we're going to start with that YGO3. And I'm just going to turn him slightly, and I'm going to put the YGO3 into the bottom of his cheeks a little bit. And I'm going to go right under his helmet line where he'd have a little bit of a shadow. Then I'm going to go YGO5, that salad color. And we're going to go fill in under his cheeks together and bring it up to the side. I'm going to turn him around a little bit. And then I'm going to color around his eye. So I'm just going to kind of create a circle just so that I leave that white space that I want around his eye. Then I'm going to go in with my YGO1, that green base. And then I'm going to kind of blend it in. Just spin them around. Maybe we'll zoom in just a little bit more for you. And we're just going to use that and bring this color down. And in through the middle here. Right now I'm just kind of using it everywhere to get his initial layer of skin blended. And because he's a small image, even though I'm just using 3 colors, which is just a little amount, I am going to go over it twice just to make sure that the colors are properly saturated where I want that depth to be. So now in his shadows and his cheeks, I'm going to be just a little bit more particular this time with that YGO3. And again, I'm going to go across that shadow line. And then with my YGO3, I'm just going to go over that outline. And sorry, I keep on bumping my camera here, so I apologize. I'm wearing reading glasses to color now, so that's something new. So I'm going to make his nose a little bit deeper, just so you get a little bit more separation of his nose from his face. And then finally, again, we're going back in with that YGO1. And you're just kind of dabbing it just around that outline into the middle here. So now here you could take a colorless blender if you want, because the eyes are a little bit tight. I'm just going to dab in on my eyes here just to make sure that I've got a little bit of white space around his eye. So I'm just using the colorless blender to just kind of push some green out just in case any got too much in there. It's just got to dry for a second. So now that we've done his skin, we're going to move on to his helmet and suit. So for those colors, we're going to be using G07, which is Nile green, YG17, which is grass green, and G82, which is spring dim green. So we're going to start with that G07, that Nile green for his helmet, because we want it to be nice and deep. And I think this is a good little challenge to color, kind of using all greens. So we're just putting it up in the side there. I'm going to go across the brim of his helmet. And I'm going to bring it all the way up the side. And you can see right here, I'm creating a little bit of distance from the top. I'm creating a little tiny bit of white space just at the top there. And I'm going to go over this line because I want this line fairly saturated with color. I'm going to put a little bit of that really dark, this G07 right in here in the antenna. I'm going to keep it off to the right hand side over here. Sorry, I'm trying to keep myself on the centered in the camera here for you too. Then we're going to go up the right hand side of his suit, just kind of in a backwards L, and a little bit into his pants here, and just a dab into his legs and into his arm as well. From the the G07, we're going to go to YG17, that green, grass green, and that we can bring up from our G07 right here under his helmet. So on this side, we can kind of completely color it in. Here we want to leave a little bit of white space still. And then I'm going to come out from this corner, and I'm kind of sweeping it around, but bringing it over as well. And again, still leaving some of that white space. And then I'm going to bring this just a little bit in here. And this one, I'm going to color completely in with this color. And then we're going to go over his shirt again, or that top half above his belt, and right under. And that little dab in his legs and his arms. Oh, and you know what? There's going to be a little dab right there in his neck with this color. Next up is our G82, so that is our spring dim green. So I'm going to add that light color right into this side of this antenna and bring it down. I'm going to bring it right over here onto that side of the helmet. And then here we're going to bring it all the way around. And then right in from this side to that darker side of the helmet. And we can keep it on this angle. We're going to bring it over from the light side. Now here we're going to fill in anywhere left to color of his suit. So I think he's looking pretty cute so far, but I am going to add a little bit more depth to that dark of his helmet. I'm going to grab that G07 again, and I just want to make a nice thin line right up here on the side and underneath the helmet here. I'm going to do the same on this side, and I'm going to bring it out. And I'm going to bring it up, make it a little bit wider, a little bit more into this side of the antenna, just to kind of keep that darkness on that side. Same on his suit right here. So even though it's a small image, I still want to give it some good detail, just to make it seem just, I don't know if I want to say a little bit more real, but just the more detail you give it, just the more beautiful the finished product looks. So YG17, that grass green, just going to add that a little bit more. But yeah, when you just kind of layer up your colors and just add them in, you always get a nicer image. And sometimes I think people find like, oh, why doesn't mine look the same? Well, one, everybody colors different, and that's perfectly okay. But sometimes it's just a matter of kind of going slow, having patience, and building up your colors. Because this is an image that we don't want to color too fast, because it's a small space. I think he's looking pretty adorable so far, if I don't say so myself. So now we're going to go in with our YG97, which is our Spanish olive, and our YG95, which is our pale olive. So again, we're just going to use the very tip of our marker, and we're going to just put that in his boot on the right hand side. Here we're going to put it a little bit more just on the bottom by his toe, into his glove a little bit, the bottom of his glove, into the bottom of his belt. Then we're going to hit that with Spanish olive. We're just going to blend that in. Span him around. And see, we're just delicately using just the tip there. So now I'm going to go back in with my, what am I going to use? I'm going to use my I'm going to use my YG05. So we're going in with our YG05, so that's our salad, and we're going to color in his collar and his cape that you can just kind of see peeking out here. Now he has this little spark, so this was super easy to color. We're just going to be using Y13 and Y000. So we're just going to add, well, first we're going to grab the right marker. So we're going to use our Y13, so that's our lemon yellow. And we're going to put that right in here. And I'm just kind of flicking out from it. And I'm doing it right over the helmet, right over his face, just to give it a little bit of glow in there. So this is now our Y000, which is our pale lemon. I'm going to go outside that, and I'm just going to kind of dab it around that whole image here. It's going to give that little bit of highlight to the face and to where he's got that little spark going on. Now I'm going to use a white Posca pen, a very fine one, just to add a little bit of highlight to the image and give him some highlight in his eyes, just to kind of make it pop a little bit more. I always think that highlight really just starts to bring the character to life. I'm going to put a little dab in his antenna. And just that tiniest bit of highlight into his helmet there. And we'll put a little into his suit, not too much. Maybe a little dab on his toe, and maybe just a little bit there into his glove, and just on that side. So very, very simple, very easy to do. Just take your time. And then we have the Great Gazoo colored up and ready to put on our card.